All right, welcome to a special edition of Real Men Wear Kilts TV. As some of you might know, I live in Nebraska and grew up in Nebraska. Moved away for a while, but I've moved back a few years ago. And that being said, I grew up watching Husker football. Husker football has been a major part of my life. Growing up, some of the best memories I have are going to Husker football games with my dad or just watching them growing up. One of the things I always heard about was, especially growing up, was the game of the century. 1971 Nebraska Cornhuskers versus the Oklahoma Sooners. Head coach Bob Devaney for the Huskers, head coach Chuck Fairbanks for the Oklahoma Sooners. This game ended up being a Nebraska win, 35-31. Now, if you look at the 70s, the 80s, the 90s for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and really this was the heyday for the Huskers. It was also the height of the rivalry between Oklahoma and Nebraska. Yes, Oklahoma leads the series between Nebraska and Oklahoma and Nebraska. But one thing that has proven to be very true is Nebraska-Oklahoma meet, anything can happen. That being said, tomorrow, this Saturday, Nebraska plays Oklahoma in Norman, Oklahoma. So, huge game tomorrow, or today, depending on when you watch this video. That being said, normally I do politics, normally I do reaction videos, stuff like that. Leo recaps, that sort of thing. However, that being said, for the rest of this season, I'm going to be doing once a week. I'm going to be doing an extra Husker football video, talking about what's going on with the Huskers, that sort of thing. So we're obviously 3 games into the season already. We've played Illinois, we've played Fordham, we've played Buffalo. Now, you look at the Illinois, let's look at what we've learned from these 3 games, because this is going to help us figure out what to expect out of Nebraska tomorrow. Don't get me wrong, I'm hoping the Huskers just blow Oklahoma out of the water, but let's face it, the Huskers are not ranked and not looking as good as haven't looked as good as they used to, in many years. That being said, we look at what's going on and everything with the Huskers, and we look at what's happened so far this season. We lost to Illinois, but here's the thing about the Illinois game. That was our opening game, won. So we knew there was going to be cobwebs. You look at last year. Last year was a fluke. I'm sorry, people, but it was a fluke year. I don't count it personally. Because of COVID, everybody was off. And Nebraska was especially off. It was already a struggling program before COVID, continuing on. And I'm not downing on the Huskers, don't get me wrong. I love the Huskers, but I'm stating some general facts as far as that goes. That being said, we look at the Illinois game. There were moments, we look at the score, we lost. However, the score is only part of the equation there. And we have to look at what actually happened in the game. Did Illinois beat us? No. Illinois did not beat us. We beat ourselves. We had moments in that game where if we had took advantage in those key moments, we would have won the game. And the reason we didn't take advantage in those key moments where we should have took advantage were points in time in the game where we made big plays. We looked like Nebraska for a play. What killed us in that game was our own selves, making stupid mistakes. That is what killed Nebraska in the Illinois game. And despite those stupid mistakes, it was still a close game. Is Illinois better than us? No. And then Nebraska? No. I'm sorry, they're not. And yes, we lost to them, but that doesn't make them better than us. We beat ourselves in that game. We could have easily won that game had we not made the stupid mistakes that we made. And we seemed to have made each and every mistake in that game seemed to be at a critical point where the momentum could have shifted in our favor. But instead, because of a stupid mistake, it shifted in Illinois' favor. And momentum is a huge thing in football. Now, that being said, Nebraska won that game. It might have still been close, but we could have won that game. Now, we had problems with the offensive line that game. We had problems with defense. We had problems across the board. Just talking practically there. Now, looking at the Fordham game. The Fordham game was a fluff game. Confidence builder, call it whatever you want. It was a fluff game. We were expected to beat Fordham by a lot, and we did. In fact, I think we tied the spread on that game. So we did exactly as expected. But that's just on the score. Let's look at the actual plays in the game. There were points in that game where had we screwed up like we did against Illinois, we easily could have ended up losing to Fordham. But we didn't make those mistakes. We played a clean game. We played our game. And we dominated the field like we should have. But we showed major improvement over the Illinois game. That being said, and there was definitely, if you look at the different plays that happened in that game and how things played out, we did very well. We actually showed a lot more improvement than we're being given credit for. Just saying. I mean, you can call me a blind homer or whatever, the new term is that I keep seeing pop up from the fair weather fans or whatever. I don't really care. Okay? I don't give a flying fuck. All right? I don't mind cursing because I'm not on TV. I'm on YouTube. Now, that being said, let's look at the Buffalo game. The Buffalo game, the score on the Buffalo game was deceptive. It really should have been 2 or 3 touchdowns higher on Nebraska's side. And the reason I say that is you look at a couple of the penalties that were called when we scored, and the penalties, if you really take a close look, I'm sorry to say it, but it kind of makes you wonder how much the refs were being paid, or if they really knew what they were, or if they really saw what they were saying they saw. There was definitely some bad calls by the refs that cost us a couple touchdowns, 2 or 3 touchdowns. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. That game should not have been as close as it was. And if you look at the game and how it played out, we showed even more improvement over what we did from Illinois to Fordham, and from Fordham to Buffalo. There's been leaps and bounds of improvement in the team. Yes, we had a couple penalties that were actually our fault, they were legit, but we didn't. One of the biggest improvements I saw. See, the Illinois games when we had those penalties where we made stupid mistakes. One of the other things we did in that game was that we let it affect us. The team let the penalties affect them and how they played. You look at the Buffalo game, even the bullshit penalties, the players on the field and the coaching staff did not let that affect the game that they were playing and how they played it. That is a critical thing for a team in college football, is to not let setbacks and adversity stop them from being, playing their game, from being who they need to be. You look at the game, and we've made major improvements over the last 3 weeks. Major improvements. I'm hoping we've continued that, going into the Oklahoma game. Now, let's look at Oklahoma. Oklahoma is currently ranked number 3, and quite frankly, they look pretty scary for Nebraska. I mean, that's being honest. You look at where they're at talent-wise. You look at how they're looking, and it's going to be a tough battle for Nebraska. That I think we can expect. But who knows? This is college football we're talking about here. And the thing about college football, it's proven time and time again that anything can happen. Anything. You hear about, these Cinderella story college teams that everybody's like, oh, they ain't going to do nothing. And they just kind of blow everybody's mind. I'm not sure what the odds currently are, but I think last I looked, we were like 20-some points, 20-some point deficit on the spread. Oklahoma's been expected to win by like 20-something points. Last I checked, I can't remember exactly what the number was. I don't know what the current number is, but who knows what's going to happen. Nebraska might come out there and shock everybody. It's a possibility. Will it happen? I don't know. I hope it happens. That'd be awesome. But I think the biggest thing needs to happen with this team is Nebraska needs to come out there tomorrow and be competitive. Play a clean game. Throw everything they got at Oklahoma. Let's face it, Nebraska is a team with nothing to lose. We got nothing to lose and everything to gain. And that right there should worry Oklahoma. Because we faced Oklahoma before where we had everything to lose. Or everything to gain and, nothing to lose. And we beat them. If you go back in the archives, you can find these games where, it's happened in the past. Nebraska is definitely the underdog in this game, but that doesn't mean a thing. Nebraska may be the underdog in this game, but underdogs do win sometimes. And I'm really hoping that's what happens if Nebraska wins. But if Nebraska doesn't win, hopefully we can show that we are competitive. And not just competitive, but embarrass, be competitive enough to embarrass Oklahoma a little bit. And get the sportscasters starting to talk about us. Because that's going to be a huge boost for the team. Even if we lose, let's say we lose by 1 touchdown. Let's say we lose the game by 1 touchdown. You know what that's going to do? Let's say we lose by 1 touchdown and hold Oklahoma to only 4 touchdowns. You know what that's going to do? That's going to get people looking at Nebraska going, wait a minute. Maybe we underestimated these guys. Because everybody thinks we're going to, if we beat the spread, people are going to notice. They're going to take notice and go, maybe Nebraska's better than what, they thought. Now, of course, the fair weather fans out there that I see on social media all the time who absolutely drive me nuts are going to be, if Nebraska loses tomorrow, going to be, oh, we suck, we can't compete, season's over, all this other stuff. You know what? I got one thing for them. Fuck off. Those of us who truly love Nebraska and yet are willing to be, pragmatic and analytical about, and analyzing how the season's going. But, we're going to look at it and go, okay, we lost that game. It sucks. But, maybe we'll win the next one. And we're going to keep on going. And we're going to look at what happened in the game and say, okay, how does this look for the rest of the season? Where does the team need to improve? Can the team improve? Et cetera, et cetera. And if we keep it competitive, honestly, I think that gives us great hope for You know, maybe a bowl game. Finishing with enough wins to get a bowl game. That'd be awesome. And it would probably guarantee Scott Frost's, job. Looking at, let's look at the team. There's a lot of people out there right now saying, oh, fire Scott Frost. That is half of Nebraska's problems right there. Since Osborne's left, since Osborne retired, we have had way too many coaches at Nebraska. Nebraska succeeds because we keep coaches a long time. Look at Devaney. Look at Osborne. Those guys were around for a good long while, especially Osborne. And that is what made Nebraska successful. That is what made Nebraska successful. Not, you get the idea. Not, changing coaches every few years. Not to mention, changing coaches every few years is expensive. If we wanted to fire Scott Frost after this season, it would cost the University of Nebraska millions. Because not only would they have to pay Scott Frost off for the rest of his contract, but they would also have to pay, if they wanted to get top tier coach in, they would also have to pay his salary on top of it, and that means paying top tier salary. All you Scott Frost haters out there, he ain't going anywhere. Not anytime soon. He's still got quite a few years left on his contract, and it would cost the university too much. But you know what? If we have a winning season and are bowl eligible at the end of the season and get a bowl game, I can say this much. That's about going to guarantee Scott Frost's job. Yes, if you look at just the win-loss ratio since Scott Frost has taken over, yes, we've had way more losses than we have had wins. Let's keep in mind, Scott Frost inherited a mess. That's what the program was in shambles when Scott Frost took over. It's improved quite a bit. It has improved quite a bit. And will probably continue to improve under Frost. But it's going to take time, and Nebraska fans, we need to be patient. We need to be patient. We need to be level-headed. And we need to tell these, fair weather fans to shut the hell up. Because when you look at social media and you see these fair weather fans making comments like Nebraska sucks, fire Frost, you get the idea. I ain't going to get into all the negative comments I've seen. One, the comments aren't really contributing to the conversation. Two, and this is a big one, all these recruits out there, all these players that we're trying to recruit, guess what? They're on social media. Guess what? They see these comments. Do you think they want to go to a school with a bunch of fair weather fans? Or they want to go to a school where, sometimes the fans may complain about how they did, but they'll know that the fans always have their back at the same time, and will always support them, win, lose, or tie. They're gonna want to go to the school where they know they're going to have, know the fans are going to have their back and support them. Nebraska has the reputation of having the best fans in college football. Actually, probably, I think college athletics in general, but I'm not sure on that part. I know at least in college football, I don't really follow many other college sports. Football's about the only one I really follow. So that's really the only one I can confidently comment on. How soon do we see a championship if Frost sticks around? we've had a lot already. And there are teams out there in Division One football who have never had a national title game, have been around just as long as Nebraska, and probably won't anytime soon have a national title game. Just statistically speaking, Nebraska is an anomaly, along with a few other schools. As far as number of national titles that we have. We've been spoiled as fans. We've been lucky as fans. Do we see another national title, or at least be in the conversation in the future? Yeah, give it a couple years. Give it a couple more years. We're not the team. Nebraska's not the team of old. Not the Nebraska of old anymore. Sad, it sucks. But you know what? The program's being rebuilt. And who knows what the future holds as far as that goes. My prediction for tomorrow, I don't know. I really don't. Am I going to watch the game? Yeah. Am I going to watch the whole game? Yeah. Am I going to be in Oklahoma for it? No. Unfortunately, I can't. I couldn't afford to do that. Maybe I'll get lucky next year and manage to scoop up a ticket when Oklahoma comes to Nebraska. It'd be nice. I'd be thrilled. Scoop up some tickets for me and those closest to me to go see it and whatnot. That'd be cool as hell. Anyone want to donate some tickets? I am a veteran. That helps. Anyways, I kid a little bit there, but if someone offered me a ticket to the game next year, hell yeah, I'd jump all over it. Hell, any Nebraska game for that matter. I don't care who we're playing. I don't care if it's a red and white game. Actually, funny enough, last year with COVID, I actually got tickets to the red and white game, and then they canceled it or whatever when COVID was first starting and whatnot. I'm like, that would have been cool as hell to go to that though. Anyways, I'd like to, here's what I'd like to see tomorrow. I can't really give you a prediction because I really don't know. But here's what I'd like to see tomorrow. I'd like to see Nebraska be competitive. I'd like to see Nebraska's defense really step up and, hold Oklahoma to as few a touchdowns as possible. I'd like to see our offensive line step up, really protect Adrian Martinez and the other backs, really hit their blocking assignments. I'd like to see the wide receivers on point. I'd like to see the running backs on point. I'd like to see Adrian Martinez on point. Basically, I'd like to see everybody on the team be on point tomorrow and play the best game they have, leave everything on the field, give everything they have to that game. Best of luck to them. Best of luck to Oklahoma. I hope you guys lose, but best of luck to you anyways. Because that's just how Nebraska fans are supposed to be. Even though there are people still in the state who still say I'd sooner die to be a Sooner. In fact, I'd hate to say it, but I grew up hearing that, grew up saying that, and there's still a part of me that says it myself. I'd sooner die to be a Sooner. Like I said, what I hope to see is Nebraska be at least competitive. It'd be awesome to see Nebraska win. But if we can show that we're competitive, that's a huge morale boost for the team, for the fans, for the coaches, for the university. And who knows, maybe it might shake things up a bit. Maybe Nebraska might get a few votes for the top 25. I doubt it, but it might be possible. Looking forward to the rest of the schedule. We have one hell of a schedule this year. You look at where some teams that we facing are ranked. We got one hell of a schedule. we have a tough schedule this year, going forward, the rest of the schedule. And, we're in the Big Ten. The Big Ten is a tough conference. And you look at the politics of things, I kind of, it kind of seems like the Big Ten don't really like having Nebraska. Don't know if it's true or not, but based on observations, who knows what's going to happen going forward. But like I said, I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. I'm looking forward to a good competitive game. This is, should be considered. Anytime we play Oklahoma, it should be considered it should be considered a rivalry game, even though we're not technically rivals with them anymore because we don't play them every year. But as far as an all-time rival, Oklahoma's definitely an all-time rival in my opinion. More so than we got Iowa as our rival in the Big Ten, but which we got them coming up too. I can't remember that next week. No, that's not next week. I'd have to look up the schedule. I'm not gonna really do it right now. I kind of take it one game at a time. After the game tomorrow, I'll be doing another video analyzing what happened in the game, so that's fresh in my mind. Like I said, I'm just hoping for Nebraska to be competitive. I'm hoping for Nebraska to, go out there, leave everything out there on the field. I think if we can be competitive, if we can hold Oklahoma to only a few touchdowns, and we can keep the score close, I think we'll get start to get some serious talk. Coming our way as far as I think we'll be at least on the fringes of the conversation, put it that way, which is a good spot to be for now. But who knows? Who knows? We might go out. There's anything happen in college football, and there might be a chance that we might go out there and, despite Oklahoma's talent, stomp them. It's a slim chance. Maybe microscopic chance. I mean, but stranger things have happened. And if we do that, the rest of the teams on our schedule might want to start, rethinking, their game against Nebraska. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. But if it's a good, close, competitive game, I'll be really happy, win or lose. And I think any true Nebraska fan would be, given the state of, how the program's been. We're going up against the number 3 team in the country. If we can be at least competitive against them, that's really going to say something. If we beat them, one, I'm pretty sure Oklahoma won't be in the top 25 anymore, let alone number 3. 2, I'm pretty sure Nebraska would be at least in the conversation. Anyways, that being said, you've been watching Real Men Wear Kills TV, Nebraska Football Edition. Check out Javelin if you if you feel like checking out if you're looking for a really good charity organization to donate to. Javelin helps serve veterans and law enforcement veterans, first responder veterans, with obtaining service dogs and the training of said service dogs. I actually have 2 dogs going through the training program right now, Samson and Delilah. They've really helped me out. They'll be my second and third dog trained with Javelin. My first dog I had trained with Javelin, unfortunately had to be put down due to medical problems that she was having. I miss her, but Javelin was right there to help me, move forward and train the new dogs to take over for her. Great organization. Love everything they do. They're based out of Omaha. And if you're a veteran or former first responder or former law enforcement, you have need of a service dog for whatever reason, contact Javelin. Yes, they're based out of Omaha, and they're not nationwide yet. But if they can't help you, they probably can point you in the right direction to another organization that will help you. Javelin does this free of charge to any of the veterans. They work with trainers. I love how to do it because a lot of service dogs places, the dog gets trained and then given to the person who needs it. Javelin does a little different. Javelin, I actually do the bulk of the training, but there's a certified trainer who helps me with that by, analyzing where me and the dog have gotten with the training. I've learned a ton, and basically they analyze where we're at in the training, and then advise me and teach me how to further the training to get the dog to the point where it can pass a public access test and do tasks as needed and be good to go out in public, that sort of thing. Awesome organization. Check them out. And they do accept dogs as donations as well. Just to let you know, if you're, if you got some puppies you need to find good homes for, they will accept the dogs as a donation, and they will give you the value of the dogs for tax write-off purposes. They'll do their little, whatever it is they do to make sure you can get that write off the value of the dogs on your taxes. I don't know how it works exactly, but they will do that. Like I said, awesome organization. Really appreciate everything they do, and I will always give them a shout out. Anyways, with that being said, I'm going to close for tonight. I got some chili cheese sauce I got to work on, and kind of wanting to have cold beer, that sort of thing. Go Big Red, win, lose, or tie, crimson and cream till I die. Like I said, I'll be watching the game from home, hoping for a good win, hoping for a great game, and we'll do another video tomorrow after the game, analyzing how the game went. With that being said, I'm out. Be safe. Catch y'all later. Go Big Red.